This is the housekeeper standing directly in front of my door, monitoring with the group stalkers sitting in their cars in alignment to me, African American females, slamming their car doors, all of them group stalking under the fake sun. That sound of drilling, a means of audible activity. This is P.O.C. These African American females are seen sitting with their car doors open, and the housekeeper is loitering in relevant position on her cell phone. And these females are sitting under the fake sun in the parking lot, and they're all monitoring together. What I'm doing on my phone, just so you understand, at this time on this date, I am publishing my podcast onto my website, which I'm going to do, but I want to speak to what's monitoring, as these psychopaths are merely maintaining close presence, literally sitting in their cars like the psychopaths that I told you that they are. There's a heavy-set African-American female with a yellow T-shirt on, sitting on the passenger side. This is probably the third parties that I already documented their license plates. They're monitoring right now, loitering in relevant position directly in front of my room on the first floor in the parking lot, acting with the housekeeper who was standing directly in front of my door on her cell phone, by the way, operating a communication device, while, mind you, my internet is being interrupted and it's substantially slowed down, trying to stop my ability to publish the podcast onto my website. This is the same housekeeper whose image has been shown on video and in pictures. They've been engaged in ongoing amplification of audible activity. As the 226, the doors opened and closed, and understand it sounds like an earthquake. That's amplification of audible activity, speaking to what she's engaged in, which is monitoring. She's patrolling back and forth now, the state's fake sun again over the venue, and directed light onto the walkway under the shaded area, speaking to exactly what they're engaged in. That sound of drilling sounding directly outside of my door as I operate my phone. It's nothing but a third-party group stalker in the parking lot at a vehicle. He's the male with the hat on. He's wearing it backwards. He's creating audible activity. They are all stalking in relevant position, as I stated. This is P.O.C. The housekeeper is now downstairs talking to the group stalkers while they are aware that I'm documenting them on my podcast. So their images that are shown, as I've already established, this is activity creation while they're loitering around, stalking, and aware of what I'm doing in my room as I am doing it, okay? This is P.O.C., and it is currently 12:14 p.m., and these are stalkers that you would be seeing their images on camera while they are loitering in relevant position, doing nothing but monitoring with communication devices in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. I want to be clear, the housekeeper goes from standing, loitering, remaining in front of my room to going downstairs and talking to these group stalkers in the parking lot. They're not even in a room. Understand, this is while they are aware of the fact that I'm documenting them in real time. They are documenting themselves. As I have already stated, everything that you are looking at as they are entering and exiting rooms, as they are sitting in their cars, as they are sitting in the parking lot, as they are engaged in any conduct, which is movement or activity, everything that they are doing is pursuant to the ongoing invasion of privacy as they're listening to me in my room and monitoring what I am doing on my phone. Those are psychopaths sitting in that car. This fat black woman with a yellow T-shirt on, they're both filling the driver's seat and the passenger seat. All they're doing is monitoring what I'm doing on my phone and trying to stop my ability to publish my podcast onto my website, which I'm going to publish. I wanted to step outside and get another example of what is the ongoing stalking conduct by the people of the state. Federal group stalking and monitoring ceaselessly underway at this venue of Economy Inn, and this is the stalking conduct. That's group stalking in the same way the housekeeper is standing directly outside of my door. That's relevant positioning. That is what group stalking is. Under the state's light source. The state is aiming light and keeping light here while they are stalking, standing in front of my door, sitting in their cars in front of my door, sitting in the parking lot in alignment to my door, and using a drill while he's appearing to be working on a car. Understand, as he uses that drill, he's doing it pursuant to what he's listening to me do inside of my room. It is occurring with simultaneity to my activity. He is stalking with audible activity using this tool while he is loitering in relevant position in the parking lot. He is seen at the black vehicle by the dumpster. They're monitoring the African-American females stalking, sitting in their cars with the doors open on the driver and passenger side. They're stalking. They're monitoring. The housekeeper standing in front of my door, acting with the short Latino male. She's stalking and she's monitoring. The African-American female sitting in the white car beside them, sitting in the, I believe this is a Kia, where they are keeping the car doors open. She's stalking as well. All of them sitting in their cars, and their location is targeted to where they're at as well. They're directly in front of my room. The group stalker at the black vehicle by the dumpster, he's providing ongoing audible activity. And understand, he's on the opposite side of the parking lot. That drill sounds as though he's right outside of my door. So I thought I would go ahead and open my door again and give you another example of what is stalking by the psychopaths that are the people of the state of California. And at Economy N, as I've stated, everything that you are looking at is pursuant to ongoing invasion of privacy, as they are as they are aware of what I'm doing, listening to me and monitoring me. That's all that they are doing at this venue. This is P.O.C. I want to speak to Amazon Prime right now at 12:17 p.m. crossing path on the 60 freeway. That is engagement in the pattern of conduct. That's the people of the state of California monitoring, engaging in the criminal elements 2 and 3 under the state's fake sun. That's engagement of light activity, systematically monitoring with the rest of the group stalkers on the 60 freeway. Amazon Prime readily identifiable. Understand, Amazon Prime is a part of the same group as these group stalkers that are sitting in front of my room, the group stalker that's sitting in front of my door, the group stalkers that are sitting in their rooms around in relevant position monitoring as well. These who are seen outside are maintaining activity outside of the room, which the state is amplifying inside of my room. Amazon Prime, that is crossing path on the 60 freeway, under the fake sun, where the state is directing light for that systematic monitoring on that freeway. Okay, understand that. That's P.O.C. That is the readily identifiable actor of Amazon Prime. And it is currently 12:18 p.m. This is P.O.C. These black females are psychopaths. They're sex offenders. They're engaged in corporate invasion of privacy, sitting in their cars. That's called stalking. Understand what stalking is and what it looks like, where the public entity is monitoring you. And they are engaged in listening to me right now. That's a sicko. That's a psychopath. That's a sex offender, aware of the fact that I'm documenting them. They are absolutely weirdos listening to another person who I do not know. I don't know them personally. They're engaged in the P.O.C. They're engaged in the behavioral pattern. They are stalking by their presence, and the state is stalking with activity while they are loitering in relevant position, meaning remaining in that position in the path, which is called loitering in relevant position. They're group stalking. They are not present in any individual capacity. They are present on behalf of the government, who is monitoring by their presence, who is monitoring as it is amplifying all manner of loud noise inside the room, which is unnaturally occurring under a fake sun, which is already established as present, speaking to the exact criminal conduct that they are engaged in while they sit there like the dummies that they are, documenting themselves, and I am publishing their criminal conduct on my podcast, another method of documentation. That's P.O.C. All right, I did capture video following that recitation of real-time criminal monitoring via communication devices as the people of the state of California are engaging in that monitoring system, engaging in group stalking, engaging in corporate evasion of privacy, engaging in monitoring in a private space, while I am at Economy Inn, located at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Again, today is Sunday, March 21st, 2021, and this is another an example of what is activity creation inside of the room. So while the state is amplifying all manner of noise that is being intentionally created, the group stalkers that are maintaining presence in the path are also creating noise, and the state is amplifying it. So similar to the creation of what is an earthquake, right? This is that which is created as 226, or what sounds like the door of 226, because it is so loud, it sounds as though it's right next to the room. Understand, it is so loud that the state is using this to shake the entire room. This is the sound of a door closing next to your room that is reverberating. Exceptionally loud volume. That's amplification, okay? And that door closure, this noise is mirroring my activity. So as I turn on Wi-Fi on my phone, for example, as I press a button to, for example, upload my podcast which is documentation that I'm from like 2018, 2019. I'm publishing all of this long-standing documentation, and as I'm in the process of uploading it to my website from my podcast, which is activity on the venue of the internet. Understand, this is all criminal conduct in violation of existing federal law, okay? But I'm also speaking to what is federal group stalking and monitoring and the ways in which the public entity is doing so. And the identification of it. And so that's what the video shows, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But I want to speak to what the housekeeper is engaged in. She's acting with the group stalkers that are sitting in their cars, with the group stalker that is loitering in relevant position by the dumpster. Understand, he is not genuinely interested or really concerned about working on a car. He's maintaining presence in the path. He is using that appearance for purposes of audible activity, which, let me be clear, the entity is engaged in nothing other than stalking and monitoring with communication devices. And this psychopath that is concerned solely about me, where I am, is engaging in merely different methods of creating the outward appearance of what is supposed to be conduct engaged in by individuals that are not monitoring. And I'm letting you know that this is ongoing federal group stalking and monitoring. Appearing, working on a vehicle, is loitering in relevant position. He's in alignment to me in my room. He is under the fake sun, remaining in alignment to me in my room, while the state is directing light. So not only the fake sun over the venue, the state is, because understand the placement of what is not the sun directly over the structure does not account for what is light bending underneath the shaded area. That is not light that is naturally occurring where you have light bending downward at a downward trajectory. The state is also directing light into the rooms, and I've shown this through the windows as it's light up all around the perimeter of the window, the top of the window, the bottom of the window, on both walls, as the state is aiming light, literally just aiming light inside of my room. Understand that's also impossible light activity. Also not in conformity with the placement of the fake sun. So the state is directing light, the state is keeping its fake sun over the venue where they are maintaining presence. Sitting outside of a vehicle in alignment in the parking lot is nothing more than relevant positioning. Understand that. And there is no activity that they are engaged in that is any less than group stalking. Okay, this is what P.O.C is looking like while I am at this venue. This is how they are engaging in the elements. What is occurring in my room is relevant to this third party's position in the parking lot. The environment is relevant to this third party's position in the parking lot, and maintaining this appearance of repair of a vehicle. This is the black vehicle beside the dumpster in the parking lot. This is a means of what is also supposed to be the explanation for the sound of a drill. Understand the behavioral pattern is also the added context to what this third party is doing while he is loitering in relevant position under the fake sun, under the state's engineered light. That drill, which is supposed to be the explanation for what I'm hearing. Understand the psychopath that is stalking. That is not because he is in the parking lot at a vehicle and appears as though he is repairing it does not mean that that drill sound that is amplified inside of my room while he is across the parking lot, by the way, that does not mean it is supposed to be the outward guise behind which I'm hearing this activity, as I also step out and capture it on podcast and on video. Understand that that is the guise under which the public entity is group stalking, okay? The state is using that appearance as an explanation for what is the ongoing stalking of activity in that method. Do you understand what I am explaining to you? It's P.O.C. The behavioral pattern is speaking to what is P.O.C. And I'm also speaking to this is the pathetic operation of that system. Everything that they are doing is supposed to be under the outside guise of something that is otherwise innocuous. All right. This is P.O.C. 24 hours a day. I've already established this. So you literally have them demonstrating and given an ongoing tutorial of how an entity monitors. These are psychopaths doing nothing but monitoring. He chooses to sit in a parking lot beside a vehicle, appearing as though he is engaged in repair, and all he's doing is engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, acting in concert with the state that is amplifying audible activity, the method of being the sound of a drill. That drill sound is occurring at an exceptionally loud volume centered in my room with simultaneity to my physical movements, to my operation of my phone, all right, as I'm uploading files, as I press the screen or switch screens or go to another website, etc. This is stalking with activity conduct while he's in relevant position. And let me be clear, this is just my ongoing 101, if you will, of understanding federal group stalking and monitoring. I'm giving you a play-by-play of how these psychopaths monitor, and all he's doing is stalking. But aside from that, at federal prosecution, understand group stalkers can claim whatever they want. It does not matter what they claim they knew or what they were doing. Guess what? The public entity is monitoring with communication devices, all right? The state of California, the government, is present via that third party in the parking lot in relevant position. The state action is clear, directed light at this environment, the state's fake sun over this venue remaining, the state stalking by plane and helicopter, and by police and emergency services who are stalking using their sirens as they are monitoring. And as they also create this activity while they are stalking, the people that are surrounding in relevant position are monitoring too. That this is how the government monitors systematically, irrespective of any legally irrelevant and implausible claim of ignorance, or I'm really working on my car. I don't know what Erica Lorraine Spencer is talking about. I don't even know her This is what the entire system of group stalking is built on, all right? This is why you have strangers, the people of the state of California, monitoring, okay? Because it is supposed to be otherwise unsuspecting. It is supposed to be otherwise that which is to depict the targeted individual who is being monitored by the government, by their presence and activity creation as suffering from a mental illness. But that does not work where you, first of all, have systematic documentation of an identical behavioral pattern everywhere that you go. You also have especially ineffective, where you are aware of what are the elements of monitoring with communication devices. And irrespective of any legally irrelevant claim at federal prosecution, irrespective of any implausible claim of ignorance, the people of the state of California engaged in the same identical behavioral pattern, not just creating activity, but stalking with that activity method. That activity also occurring under what are the incredible occurrences of what is not the sun, under the incredible occurrence of what is directed light, engineered light, not naturally occurring light, that also happens to be surrounding and molesting everywhere that I go. That's the absence of coincidence. It is also that which is occurring where the state is engaging in the ongoing stalking conduct. This is a pattern, all right, and that is fully complicit with that established pattern. This is P.O.C. This is the people of the state of California as I'm documenting them at third-party facilitating venue, Economy Inn, at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Now, what I want to point out is after I captured this audio reciting what is real-time stalking by the housekeeper, acting with the third-party group stalkers sitting in their car, those are the weirdos that I'm talking about, okay? And while they're in their cars, while they're visually seen, this is what I mean by what you are looking at is married to the audible activity, the noise that they create. Closing their car doors, closing their trunks, starting their ignitions. It is hyper exaggerated with regards to its audible impact. The state is amplifying all of that. So you're not looking at anything that is ordinary presence. You're not looking at, because their presence is facilitating the ability to monitor with communication devices. You're not looking at ordinary activity of just getting in your car, getting out of your car, walking in or out of your room for that matter. As they close the door, the state is literally engaged in creating what is supposed to be an earthquake as you're opening and closing your doors. So this is literal proof of presence, while everything that they are doing is facilitating the criminal monitoring with communication devices. And these psychopaths are sitting in relevant position. Understand that in and of itself, engaging in any criminal element as basic as presence, being in alignment, crossing path, and or patrolling, which is repeatedly crossing path. And understand this is what the people of the state, that's their role, is to maintain perpetual presence in concert with the government that is maintaining perpetual presence. And directly, okay, so the people are maintaining presence vicariously while they are together stalking with activity. And the state is amplifying this activity as it's created. The state is stalking with light. Light is always maintained, audible activity is always maintained, while these group stalkers are maintaining presence. That is the P.O.C. over and over and over again. This is what I'm capturing on video as I step out, because the state is amplifying the sound of booming coming from the ceiling. Okay. All right. That is an absolute act by the state. That's state action. The state is amplifying that sound, meaning it is exceptionally loud, booming coming from the ceiling. Okay, that's nothing but noise creation in the room, while the state's fake sun is directly over these group stalkers who are sitting in alignment to me in my room in the parking lot. While, mind you, what I capture on video, you're looking at what is the fake sun directly over my room, over the cars while they are sitting, that's stalking. You're literally capturing what a psychopath looks like and what a psychopath acts like, while these criminals are monitoring and aware of the fact that I am documenting them for that, not because they see me holding a phone, but because they're monitoring with the state, with communication devices, and they're monitoring what I'm doing on the internet while I'm in my room with the door closed. Okay, so you have what are the psychopaths that are monitoring, who are sex offenders, they're stalking, and are hostile to documentation. Okay, so understand in the same way that sitting outside of a car appearing as though you were repairing it is no persuasive act whatsoever, where you have already established the state's pattern of conduct. It's a mere demonstration of presence, while the state is amplifying activity and monitoring with your presence. In the same way, there is no persuasive act whatsoever of claiming ignorance. Understand a third-party group stalker engaging in hostility and harassment, because that's what it's legally analyzed as. That's what it is, while they're monitoring. And in my video, which I capture, you have this group stalker who was sitting in her car. She's a weirdo, all right? She's a sex offender, and she is stalking and monitoring with the communication, monitoring me, aware of what I'm doing in my room. But yet, what I capture in videos as I step out and I get what is my shadow appearing, not on the ground, The shadow is appearing far inside of the depths of this room of 116 on the first floor. My shadow is enlarged on this wall. It's enlarged on the door, and you see my shadow again at the far wall inside of this room. That is directed light. That is the trajectory, speaking to the trajectory of light. That is not light coming from the sky, in other words. That is light that is being aimed horizontally. This is why my shadow is being cast onto the wall in front of me inside of 116, and it is enlarged. That's not sunlight. That's called directed light. The state's fake sun is directly above me as well as I go and get the license plate as these group stalking psychopath sex offenders are sitting in their car, their Kia Forte. All right. This is impossible light activity. And then this psychopath has the nerve to engage in more criminal. It's documentation. That's all it is, because these are psychopaths that know very well that while they're monitoring me, I'm documenting them. And no act of asking me a question, what are you doing? This psycho knows exactly what I'm doing. I am documenting her sick criminal conduct. And understand that in the same way of sitting outside in relevant position, is no persuasive form for what is monitoring. Asking me a question about what I'm doing is no persuasive form as to ignorance about what her criminal conduct is, which is monitoring, sexually violent conduct, monitoring in a private space. Molesting me, as the state is molesting with light, she's monitoring with that entity. She's a sex offender in that regard as well. She is also engaged in what is documented criminal harassment and threats. She's representing the government, exercising what is the hostility while she's fully aware of what I am doing, which is cataloging bit by bit every criminal act engaged in by the people of the state. Her asking that question is nothing but documentation of criminal harassment, and that's a threat. Understand, she's in the position of the government. Under all of those hallmarks that I'm documenting, it is absolutely impossible light activity, as you see that directed light on the first floor, and as I go upstairs, I've already documented what is the state's directed light on the second floor. This is not sunlight at all. I've already established this, but this is ongoing documentation of the same, to the same end. That is absolutely impossible light activity that is present while I am demonstrating and revealing what is group stalking. And why are they stalking as a group? Because they are monitoring together. This is why you have this carnival of lights all over. There was nobody in that room, by the way, as I am capturing the impossible light activity on the far wall inside, while the state is directing what was white fluorescent light, shimmering light. That was the quality of the light. And my shadow is enlarged as you see it moving, if you pay attention, across the door and then moving onto the far wall inside. That is not light. That is coming from a downward trajectory of what is the sun, first of all. Secondly, that is not the sun that is directly over me. And third of all, that is also light that is being shot horizontally as I am on that first floor. And this is why you have my shadow appearing on that far wall. And you also have what are multiple shadows, and you have this is a light activity as they are patrolling. You see the African-American female in the video who was sitting in her car, the white vehicle that I explained with the black shorts on, the African-American female, and she walks to her room. She's crossing path as I'm using my phone. She's monitoring again, just like she was group stalking sitting in her car as I was in my room. As I open the door and begin shooting podcast and video, she hops out of her car after she was sitting in there for a prolonged period. And this is that which would also be reflected on the surveillance videos at this venue. Okay. This is while they are engaged in real-time knowledge because they are monitoring based on the nature of the crime. They know exactly what I'm doing on my phone, including when I am documenting their criminal conduct. All right. And so this is going to the malice with which they're in, the threat that is waged as they engage in such hostility exhibited by that African-American female who is a sex offender. She's a psychopath. All right. An extreme weirdo with a minor child engaging in sexual violence of another American citizen in violation of my constitutional rights with a minor child. I want to be clear on that. There is no prop. You can hold a cigarette, you can hold a dog, you can hold a baby, you can have a minor child with you, you can be in a wheelchair, you could be pushing someone's wheelchair while the elements are present. It is P.O.C, okay? And there is no form whereby it is anything other than that where you've established the state's pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring with communication devices. This is why you have what is a carnival of lights, and this is why you have what is loud booming coming through the ceilings and through the walls. What is earthquake type conduct, movement of this room while they are only closing what is supposed to be closing a door, and yet it's creating a substantial sensational activity, monitoring. All right. This is the engagement in the criminal elements, which is what you're focusing on. Light, activity, activity which is visible, audible, and or sensational. All right. And understand this light activity that is present is also visible activity. All right. And so when I'm downstairs, for example, capturing this video of what is directly incriminating these pathetic psychopaths sitting in their car, loitering in relevant positions, stalking. All right. And I'm capturing this light activity that is directly speaking to what the psychopath will never confess out of their mouth. All right. This is why you analyze the environment. This is how a public entity monitors via the people of the state. And this is clearly demonstrated in the video that I'm seeing, that I captured. What you're seeing also in that video, as I'm capturing this light activity, what do you see? You see the third party group stalker going to 115. She's crossing path. You see the housekeeper walk past me on the first floor where she is in relevant position, crossing path in the same light activity. She's crossing path. Understand, where you are engaging in repeated crossing path, that's called patrolling. This is what the people of the state of California are doing on a ceaseless basis. As one group maintaining presence in the path, they are patrolling all together. I'm showing you what is understanding of that, the relevant positioning, the engagement in the criminal elements. 1115 crossing path, then the housekeeper crossing path, they're patrolling. The third-party group stalkers maintain presence in their car. They're remaining in alignment. The group stalker sitting at the vehicle by the dumpster, he is in alignment. The housekeeper comes from upstairs crossing path, walking up the stairs as I am also documenting. She's crossing path. That's called patrolling. The third-party group stalker is seen walking at the entrance of the driveway of the Economy Inn nearest Euclid Avenue, where the housekeeper is crossing over the parking lot and he is walking forward. They're patrolling. They are engaging in nothing what is other than crossing the path as they are monitoring with communication devices. It is group conduct. They are acting in concert. Every single last one of them, the government has made itself present vicariously through them as they are maintaining this presence in the path. What is speaking to that? The fact that the state is stalking where I am. This is already established. This is ongoing. This is ongoing with that ongoing stalking conduct by the state. Okay, the state is present, engaged in ongoing stalking. While the state is engaged in ongoing stalking, it is amplifying audible activity. It is also amplifying audible activity inside of this room, using booming through the ceilings and booming through the walls, creating that which is similar to an earthquake. In the room, okay? The state is engaging in booming through the closure of the doors, which this venue is using the door closure right next to my room as a means of stalking with activity, using the drill outside as a means of stalking with activity. As I record my podcast, for example, or as I start and stop recording, immediately you hear knocking through the walls. They're stalking with activity while light is maintained, while the state is always maintaining presence directly. All right. And so I'm showing this in video and I'm also pointing it out and I'm speaking to what are the engagement in the criminal elements. They're patrolling and they're engaging in it on camera. And I'm also narrating what is the engagement in the criminal elements in that video. And this is while I'm engaged in movement. I'm under what is the fake sun. There is nothing whatsoever that the people are in any way any longer they have no guides whatsoever. There is no form whatsoever. They are merely stalking. All right. And they are stalking in the environment deliberately designed for monitoring with communication devices. They're literally showing what is their criminal conduct. It's in clear, bare form, all right, before your very eyes. Everything that they are doing is abnormal, and the entirety of that environment is abnormal, all right? And so this is the breaking down of that entire system. And I am also speaking to that which is activity creation inside of this room, which is the purpose of this documentation, as I am subject to systematic monitoring in a private space while psychopaths engage in that very sort of conduct, stalking by loitering outside of the door. Okay, they're monitoring with communication devices. That is maintenance and alignment. And loitering in the parking lot. That is maintenance in relevant position in the parking lot while the state is present with the light. Do you understand how I'm going over what are ceaseless engagement in the criminal elements, all right? While they are stalking with audible activity, all right? And so this is while they are aware of, with real-time awareness of my every move, of my activity, not only physically, but also on a communication device, on my phone. And this is while you have the ongoing chorus of noise, which the state is just turning up in volume. All right, so that is the prosecution of the people of the state of California. P.O.C. is ceaseless at this venue where I remain. And I am making an example of specific actors. Those psychopaths are sex offenders. They're group stalking, and they are engaging in the identical conduct of the people of the state everywhere I go, engaging in the same exact conduct. All right. It is nothing extraordinary with regard to what is the established P.O.C. All right. So in that regard, it is that which I've already shown. They're engaging in the same conduct that the people of the state of California are systematically engaged in vicariously on behalf of the public entity. That is amplifying audible activity. That is speaking to state action. Okay. That is stalking with a fake sun. That is speaking to state action. That is directing its engineered light, which is speaking to state action while they are present in the path for the purpose of monitoring with communication devices. All right. And that's POC, and that's what I capture in video. And you are looking not only at the fact that they are present, you are looking at the environment that they are present in. These are psychos. These are weirdos. This is the people of the state of California. This is the government that is monitoring. And this is POC, what I published. And that is also documentation of what is criminal harassment by a psychopath sex offending group stalker. Understand that's entirely threatening conduct by one who is monitoring, representing the government, and fully aware of what you're doing while they're monitoring you, okay? Because it's not unrelated criminal conduct. It's not like they're engaging in what is breaking and entering, and then not aware of the fact that I'm capturing video. No, based on the nature of the crime that I'm documenting, i.e. monitoring with communication devices, they know exactly what I am gathering evidence of, which is monitoring with communication devices. And so you literally have what is the creation of audible activity and the communication of a threat using that audible activity, aware of the fact that they're being documented because they're monitoring me, and aware of everything that I've already published with regard to that documentation. This is why you have the removal of their front license plate. Okay. And this is the disingenuous question in a hostile fashion under a fake sun, under directed light, while they're stalking in relevant position, and asking me, what am I doing? And she knows exactly what I'm doing. All right. That's also POC. All right. Everything coming out of the mouth of a lying, sex offending, stalking group stalker, third party. All right. Is nothing but audible activity in relevant position. And that is going toward federal prosecution. Okay. That is POC. And that was shared by the economy in specifically engaging in POC. All right. Specifically engaging in the stalking conduct and the elements of monitoring, not just occurring on the venue, which is facilitation, engaging in the criminal conduct, facilitating it with the very third parties that are maintaining presence and or just present for the purpose of criminal monitoring. So again, like I'm saying, just because they're on the property does not mean that they're actually a patron. This is literally federal group stalking and monitoring headquarters, and the people of the state are routinely engaging in another method of presence, another method of light activity creation, another method of activity creation, which the state is doing nothing but amplifying. All right. That's POC, and those specific license plates I want to engage. They have been documented before, engaging in ongoing criminal monitoring on yet another day, acting with pursuant. That is the same group. This is the people of the state of California. I'm identifying specific actors monitoring again. All right. This is just another episode of documenting these specific actors representing the people of the state. That's POC. All right, it is currently 1:32 p.m. About 3.5 minutes ago, I did step out to capture pictures and video of what is engagement in the criminal elements of audible activity, light activity, as they are moving about in the state's directed light under the state's light source, which is aimed directly over this parking lot. And let's just point out the obvious again. The fake sun being directly over this room at 227 is in no comparison whatsoever to being directly over B&G Plaza, as I'm at Shiro's Liquor, for example, or 435 South Bonneview at Mercy House, where the state's fake sun remains there for the duration of the day, and the same directed light is present at that venue while the state is molesting with light and they're monitoring there. This is in no way even similar whatsoever being over Country Village Apartments, the leasing office, as I captured the state's fake sun both in the morning and for the duration of the day, as I stepped out and captured several videos of plane activity, helicopter activity, and the state's fake sun squarely over the building where my desk was at the entrance of the leasing office, and where it remained for the duration of the day as I walked from basically the front of that leasing office area to the back where the state's fake sun was moving, remaining over. That is mutually exclusive to where it is right now, speaking to the criminal conduct that I'm systematically documenting. And what I stepped out to capture was the the owners, the female with the very thick accent of Economy N, engaging in P.O.C. with the housekeeper. And I address with her that which is criminal conduct and is not going to result in a remedy. This is all serving what is ongoing documentation as she's crossing path under all of the same facts, all right? Under the fake sun, amplifying audible activity while she's walking past with the housekeeper at the same time that I am engaged in operation on my communication device and the group stalker that is in 228. I've been referencing as 226. Understand that's 228. Engaged in what is the noise, which is heard loudly through the walls. Understand while you're talking, even at this volume that I'm speaking at, you cannot hear this through the opposite wall. Unless you're intentionally trying to listen in. Probably if you put your ear to the wall, you could hear somebody talking. But this is not a volume where you are able to hear to that degree what is going on in the room next to you. Understand while these group stalkers are talking, I'm hearing voices that are coming through the walls. That's amplification of audible activity. And that is not that which you are automatically, ordinarily capable of hearing while they're talking, not even yelling. All right. This is talking, which is heard murmuring voices through the wall, holding conversation. That's a creation of audible activity. In no way suggesting that the booming and banging through the ceiling and the walls opposite this mirror and on the opposite side of the wall where 226 would be, and I mean 226, not 228, 226 would be, and through the floor. All right, the state is surrounding this room with audible noise, which is being amplified, and another method was the sound of what is supposed to be voices talking. And understand that I'm even giving you an explanation. My talking at this volume, which is a basic speaking volume, is not that which you are hearing through the rooms. All right. The walls are not that thin. That's amplification of audible activity. And irrespective of any explanation that would be provided, it is under all circumstances occurring where the state is stalking and state action is present, amplification and the state's light source and directed light. This is P.O.C. of monitoring. And I just want to be clear, that's just another method employed. 228, there is a group stalker in this room and stalking with ongoing noise. You're hearing rumbling through the walls like, and understand this is a hotel room. I'm not over here throwing around furniture or anything. You're literally lounging in a hotel room. This is the pattern of conduct. And I want to give another example. Actually, this is what I document when I'm in, for example, like a grocery store or any other venue where I'm capturing images of what is noise activity as they are surrounding me as I move inside of the venue. The latest venue where I did document that was at Grocery Outlet. And as I walk through the grocery store, the same behavioral pattern, stalking with noise, wherever I am at, maintaining noise activity. So they go to the aisle where I'm at, standing by the potato chips, and the female begins ruffling the potato chips bags. She's creating noise, and she's doing so in alignment to me in the path, creating audible activity. The state that is stalking, as I clearly showed, the state flies directly over me as I'm standing outside of the store. That's what the state is doing while I'm inside of the store. Okay, they're monitoring, and that is monitoring conduct inside of that venue. It is the same conduct while I'm inside of this room, keeping up this noise activity, as I've already explained. So I want to speak to the actor engaging in P.O.C, facilitating and acting with the owner. She's crossing path with the housekeeper under the impossible light activity. She's monitoring me, and she is doing so as I address with her 228, who is aware of the fact that I'm speaking about it, opens the door. The owner still does not address it. I ask her, because this group stalker that is listening to me inside of my room, all right, because they're monitoring, not because it's the walls are so thin that you can hear everything, but because the state is engaged in corporate invasion of privacy. All right, that is what it is. The ongoing monitoring conduct, aware of what I'm doing, that is also inaudible as I'm shifting eye focus, as I am using the bathroom, as I'm in the shower, as I'm making physical movements, stalking with activity. And the amplified volume of that activity is also speaking to the criminal system that is in operation. And so 228, maintaining presence in relevant position next to my room as I am in 227, and ongoing noise activity, which is amplified as I am in operation on my phone, on my website, The Pattern of Conduct, which is the blog site for my podcast. And they are also, which is also evidencing what is monitoring conduct, engaged in the ongoing tampering, slowing down of the internet. That's monitoring conduct. It's not a malfunction of Wi-Fi. It's not a malfunction of internet. That is blatant monitoring conduct. And that is also in direct violation of existing federal law. That is the purpose for which they are engaging in group stalking, monitoring the activity on a communication device, while ongoing noise is created and amplified. So not only are you creating noise, which is, I mean, what are you doing? I don't know, rearranging the room. But what you're hearing is what is supposed to be the sound of dragging furniture. That is loudly heard through the room. This is the same conduct. This is the same tactic that you would engage in. It's really just any manner of noise creation that is at your disposal at what is the venue of a third-party innkeeper, in a motel room. And so this is the same thing Mayfair Inn was engaged in with the housekeepers and with the patrons. They're all third parties. Dragging furniture around. I'm just going to be clear. Under ordinary, I'm your average patron at a hotel. I am not I'm not moving the bed. I'm not moving the dressers around. I'm not rearranging the furniture. And you ordinarily are not doing that. But even if you are, you're talking about what is a means of creating noise inside of the room. And that's what's occurring. In addition to, so you're hearing what is amplified sound of dragging furniture, loud, like they're dragging furniture. That's what it sounds. It's reminiscent of that sort of method of how that noise would be created. All right. And that's just an educated guess. It is nothing more than the state amplifying noise into my room, while a group stalker is maintaining presence in the path in the rooms directly aligned to me. Okay. And this is activity that they are creating while everyone else in relevant position is monitoring to that activity. All right. This is the ongoing conduct of specifically 228. So I want to make sure that I correct that. I've been referencing 226. 226 is on the opposite side. And 228 is the room that I've been specifically speaking to, with the heavyset Latina female. That's funny. With the heavyset Latina female and the Latino male who told me his name was Brian. He's monitoring me, with Tracy Banks, who was repeatedly pounding on the door the other night, and that whole episode with playing the loud cell phone. This is room 228. Okay, so I was referencing that as 226. This is room 228. Understand, irrespective of I'm just being precise with my details, but understand 226 and 228 are on opposite sides in relevant position underneath me, and the rooms to the side of me on the first floor are in direct relevant position, used for purposes of amplifying noise inside of my room while group stalkers maintain presence, and the state, as I have shown, even downstairs, directing light onto all the services, and also as I move downstairs, keeping that light activity ongoing while they are monitoring with communication devices. So what I capture on video after the owner is crossing path, and as I speak to her about what is ongoing noise coming from 228, this third party inside of 228 opens the door and closes it. The owner does not take opportunity to address, as I ask her about this noise level, which is substantial coming through the walls. This is none other than P.O.C, but this is just addressing it with a third-party facilitator, the owner of Economy Inn, all going toward prosecution while she's engaged in monitoring me, okay? She's monitoring me as I am talking to her. She's monitoring me as she's walking past and I'm inside of my room. I take that opportunity to address the noise that is coming from 228, okay? That's what I'm doing. And that's what she's doing. She's monitoring. And as I am speaking to her, you have the third-party group stalkers who you see patrolling. They enter into the parking lot in the large white SUV, and the African-American male with the short braids, I guess, whatever those are on his head. And I documented him as well before, engaging in P.O.C. Again, I'm capturing what is the state's fake sun, the directed light. I'm showing what is in the shade. Under my room, I'm showing it is supposed to be quote unquote in the shade, and my shadow is still appearing. I'm showing what is light activity, light on the ceiling inside of the room, despite the fact that it is in the shade, and my shadow as I'm moving my arm across the wall and the door, despite the fact that it is in the shade, okay, and the fact that the light source, the fake sun, is over the structure. That is also not shadow light. And understand, moving shadows are a method of light activity. That is not light activity that is occurring where the sun is over the structure. When you're in the shade, you're in the shade. Okay. You've got light activity while the state is aiming light still in the shade. The state's engineered light is not ordinary light. This is engineered light that the state uses to stalk with and to molest with, and is always aiming light. The state changes the color of light, the concentration of light, and the state is literally engaged in real-time movement of this light, like literally as I move step by step, all right, in a parking lot, in a building, all right, and in a location at a venue. This is the placement of it and remaining with its light source over 2301 South Euclid Avenue, which is no way similar whatsoever. At the exact same time, it is present and remaining where I am at that time at 10250 Country Club Drive in Jurupa Valley, California. That is not coexisting, being at that zenith of a location directly above me, remaining and even moving about as I move at that venue from the front of the office to the back of the office. You see the fake sun remaining in that position as it is remaining here over this parking lot all day long. I've shown it in the morning as I'm going off to work to Jurupa Valley, where it's then present over Jurupa Valley. I've shown it in the evening where it is on the opposite side of this same parking lot where it remains all day long. Okay, that is also, I mean, an absolutely ridiculous act by the state, by the way. Even if that was the sun it's starting, it's rising here, at the end of the day, you are not seeing the sun that's remaining over the parking lot. If it's starting at the end of the day, the sun is not remaining physically visible over your over this property. All right. The sun that is in constant motion, which is also not centered on me where I am. Understand, this is not over Hope Boulevard. It's not over the museum. That's not over Ontario Town Square. It is distinctly captured, speaking to what these psychopaths are engaged in, speaking to what 228 is engaged in, speaking to what the owner is engaged in, while they are also patrolling inside of the parking lot, and doing so pursuant to that behavioral pattern, as I am what is documenting the owner. I do take a picture of the housekeeper as they have walked downstairs and they go to walk under the walkway of the first floor. I do capture a picture of what is the housekeeper, and the housekeeper is walking with the owner. They're monitoring. And then I capture the video of the group stalkers who are merely crossing path. So understand that they are not engaging in P.O.C. alone. They're engaging in crossing path in close quarters, doing so by driving through the parking lot, patrolling in their vehicles, while they are moving around under the state's light source, creating light activity, creating audible activity as they're playing loud music, and monitoring with the group stalkers that surround in relevant position, facilitating the state's ability to monitor directly. All right. This is P.O.C. And understand the state's conduct of directed light, engineered light, of the fake sun, of amplified audible activity is equally demonstrative of state presence. In the same way that stalking by aircraft flying directly over my head, flying directly over my room, patrolling repeatedly in planes and helicopters is indicative of state presence. You want to be clear on that, all right? So you're now analyzing the state stalking as I captured directly, visually, and also the state is stalking with the ongoing, deliberately designed environment for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. It is equally telling and it is equally probative, direct evidence of what is monitoring conduct in concert with the people of the state. And that's 2301 South Euclid Avenue, as I stepped out to address that. And the group stalker in 228, aware because they're monitoring, aware of what I'm saying as I'm saying it, creates audible activity, by the way, by opening and closing the door. And the owner having no interest whatsoever, irrespective of what they say or what they represent, it's P.O.C. and it's going to continue. And she has no interest whatsoever of addressing it. And so this is activity creation as 228 opens the door and closes it. That's what they're doing. As she is standing, the owner is standing in front of my room. So let me be clear. It's not idle what they're doing. It is serving the criminal elements as they're monitoring. I want to be clear about what is demonic activity. I am laying out before you're looking at video of what is demonic activity. They're not going to look like ghosts. They're not going to look like they're hovering above the ground. They're engaging in demonic activity. This is a demonic system. Their behavior is that which is indicative of that which is of the demonic. Understand? They are demonstrating what is that engagement in that system, and understand everything about their conduct and everything about the environment where they are engaging in that conduct is that demonstration of that satanic involvement, that satanic participation. You need to understand that. That's what demonic activity actually looks like. That's how demonic possession actually behaves itself. It is entirely malicious. And this is that which is shared by the group. This is the state of California engaging in a demonic targeting system. It's absolutely from the pit pit of hell, but it is also criminal, which is what I am focused on for purposes of its prosecution in a court of law. But I want to be clear, the faces that I'm capturing, the conduct that I am narrating as it is occurring, this amplified audible activity, the stalking with light, understand that they are engaging in satanic activity. This is demonic what the people of the state of California are engaged in, which the state of California, the government, is operating. All right, so you are looking at, and I am describing to you, you are witnessing and understanding what is satanic, what is demonic activity. The P.O.C. of federal group stalking and monitoring is demonic activity. That is P.O.C. All right, I want to speak to what is stalking by sirens, the same entity. Understand this third party right here with her minor child is using, he's a communication device in relevant position. Those are sirens. The moment my video camera stops recording, that's AMR ambulance in relevant position under the fake sun. It's 6:30 p.m. driving north on Euclid Avenue. Amplified sirens, okay? Sirens immediately stop as they pass the driveway of Economy Inn. And those sirens started with simultaneity to my video camera that stopped recording, which that entity knows, which is why the sirens started audible activity at the moment that my camera stopped recording. This is a group stalker climbing up the stairs right now, driving past on his bike as the sirens by AMR are driving past. He's monitoring. They're all one group. This is P.O.C. All crossing path under the state's directed light. Light streaming across the ceiling as he's crossing path. P.O.C. Psychopath. All aware of what I'm doing inside of our room. Let's get a close-up of this group stalker. She got issues. She's stalking in the parking lot, acting with AAA. All right, and the state was doing this conduct that I just captured on podcast, sounding the sirens, beating of the sounding of what is the sound of what? Hitting the ceiling. This is in the same way the state just aims light that is coming out of nowhere. The state creates noise in the room coming out of nowhere. It is not even that which is explicable. But this is P.O.C. and I want to speak to ongoing harassment by Economy Inn. I want to speak to that. That's what they're engaged in while you're monitoring me. So I want to document that coming out of the mouth of a third-party group stalker at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. And this is directed light. That's AMR ambulance. That's the state acting directly in concert with these group stalkers that are present, acting vicariously on behalf of the state at Economy Inn. All right, this is State of Brothers, documenting them at their venue. They're also on the 60 freeway crossing path. That's what I just took a picture of, using that company vehicle engaged in the pattern of conduct. That is crossing path while they're on the 60 freeway, and that is a brand, a company, whereby they are engaging in the element of relevant positioning. They are monitoring AMR also on the freeway crossing path. That's not a coincidence. This is P.O.C. And they are aware of the fact that I'm documenting them. Go ahead and capture that as well. That's P.O.C. That is the state surrounding, acting directly and vicariously. That's on the 60 freeway. AMR crossing path right here at the driveway. It's sounding sirens at the moment that my video camera stops recording. That's not a coincidence. Get these sickos down here. They love to stalk, honey. They got issues. Straight jackets. Straight jackets. It is currently 6:32 p.m., maintaining presence in the path while the state is sounding sirens, while the state's fake sun remains present, while what you see is shade right here on the under the shaded area, while the state's fake sun remains present, right? It's still right here on the side of the building, rising and setting. That's the state's fake sun. And directed light in conflict with the direction of the light activity outside of the room, okay? While this third-party group stalker, this child opens the front door, impossible light activity moving about while they open the door. All right, they're monitoring. They're sickos. They got issues. And this is demonic activity in your face. This is the same one, license plate 6JZE097. It is currently 6:33 p.m. That is P.O.C. And I recited the license plate of the people of the state of California acting via AAA, seen on cameras, loitering in relevant position under the state's directed light, while the state is sounding sirens, while the state is acting via what is the creation of activity as they're honking their horns, amplifying that. That's a motorcycle on the 60 freeway that you're hearing. That is more than over 150, 200 feet away from where I am. They're driving west on the 60 freeway, and it is loud, audible activity, okay? Amazon Prime crossing path on the freeway, all right? This is P.O.C. And that is impossible audible activity. This is all prefacing what is monitoring conduct. That motorcycle driving west on the 60 West Freeway heard that loudly, and that is while my door is closed, okay, while I'm standing at the bathroom sink, and that's what this heavy-set African-American female with her minor children, monitoring with them while they have communication devices, all of them under what is the state's directed light, while the state is amplifying the sound of a motorcycle that is well too far away to be that loud. That's the P.O.C., all right? State stalking via sirens, state stalking by the people of the state in both company vehicles, commercial vehicles, and in their private vehicles. All righty? I just want to be clear and make sure I get this license plate. Again, that one, I believe, is the same one. 7AQC 967, loitering in relevant position. Surveillance cameras on the ground, and 224 sitting outside in front of her door as well, monitoring on the opposite side of the room while they're loitering in front of my room in the car, and then moving their vehicle. That's a means of light activity, and then stopping in the parking spot. That's creating light activity as that's patrolling. All right, that's monitoring conduct that the surveillance cameras are showing, and that's what she's engaged in. All they are doing is monitoring, and they're listening to every word that I'm uttering as they do so. All right. They are sex offenders engaging in this stalking conduct while I'm in the room with the door closed. And this is my ongoing narration of what they're doing. And they're acting as a group. They're monitoring at Mobile gas station. They're monitoring inside of their rooms in relevant position at Economy Inn, and the group stalker of 224 sitting outside of her room. The group stalker with license plate 6JZE097, the old white man engaged in kidnapping September 25th with Economy Inn, engaging in P.O.C. They're all monitoring together. This third party in that license plate that I recited, acting with AAA, who speeds out of the parking lot as I open my door, as the third parties use their honking of the horn repeatedly in this parking lot, which is audible activity under the state's fake sun. Want to be clear, now they're backing up again. That's light activity using that vehicle. Again, that is license plate 7AQC967. Impossible light activity as they are driving north out of the parking lot. All right, that's creation of light activity as they're driving under the state's fake sun as well. That is P.O.C. And on the surveillance cameras, you'll see them driving out of the property. The state is directing light inside of this room, despite the fact that the fake sun is nowhere near over the parking lot. It's over across the street, still visible, which is not the sun whatsoever, while there is no direct light seen on the shaded parkway, walkway. What you have is directed light shown on the wall inside of the room. That is the state that is aiming light, and as it's doing at all times. And this is ongoing conduct, criminal conduct that they're engaged in. They, meaning those that I'm specifically naming by those license plates, they're engaging in criminal monitoring. That's federal group stalking and monitoring, and criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring. They are engaged in monitoring in a private space. Understand AAA is engaged in that P.O.C. on the surveillance cameras, loitering in relevant position, acting with those psychopaths who are even monitoring with their minor children. As her young daughter opens the door, or whoever she is to her, this is one who appears to be under 18. Understand, all she has to do is open the front door. She opened the back passenger door, and impossible light activity moves on the surfaces in front of me on the second floor. All right, that's creation of light activity and acting. That's criminal facilitation, monitoring. That's monitoring conduct via a third party who is under the age of 18. The other third party male on his phone, standing in the middle of the parking lot in front of the car in relevant position while the state is sounding sirens, while the state's light source is present, while this impossible light activity is present, while the state is directing light inside of the room onto the east wall of this room. You have, and understand how that is impossible, right? Onto the east wall on the inside of this room. That's directed light, okay? And he is present in relevant position in the parking lot, monitoring with young children, okay? So understand how federal prosecution goes. There is no avoiding it whatsoever. This is an example of how the people of the state of California are subject to federal prosecution. Those who are under 18 are not immune from federal prosecution. And in addition to that, those who are over 18 or whoever are the parents or whatever, whoever bore those mistakes, because they're engaged in criminal conduct and they are an abysmal failure as parents and as children. It's disgusting what I'm documenting, and it's ongoing criminal conduct, and that is facilitated by these those who are over 18, these third parties who I captured on video and in pictures that she's monitoring with minor children. The front one, the male on his phone, and the other one opening up the car door and impossible light activity, moving all around. Okay, this is P.O.C, and this is exactly the same thing that they were engaged in earlier today when I captured the impossible light activity inside of the depths of room 116 on the first floor, and the young child is crossing paths. She walks past me and goes inside of the room, closes the door, which was empty, by the way. Nobody was in that room. And you have the third-party group stalking female who's sitting in her car, a stalker, a sex offender, a psychopath, talking about her mom is in there. Nobody was in there. The door was wide open. The state is directing light inside of that room, and that's exactly what I captured, which was impossible light activity. That is light activity via directed light. 2 hallmarks. All right, that's both hallmarks. Not only the light activity, stalking with light activity, but the directed light. It's not only that, it is that which is occurring with the state's engineered light. It is currently 6:39 p.m. and that is P.O.C. And I want to be clear, as I documented again, economy and engaging in monitoring, they're directly engaged in the pattern of conduct while the state is amplifying their audible activity. I'm standing at the sink, I'm manipulating my hair, and as I'm engaging in doing my hair, they're stalkers that are literally standing around congregating, just like they sit around congregating in the parking lot in their cars, and sitting outside in relevant position around their rooms. Understand it's targeted on my location, where I'm doing, and they are using what is a red, like, icebox type of thing, and the male and the female, the same female that you heard coming and knocking on my door after Tracy Banks did, acting with 228, because I referenced 226, it was 228 with the heavy-set Latina female. And the Latino male who gave me his name, or gave me a name rather, referred to himself as Brian, and he's the one who was engaged in harassment, telling me he wasn't going to turn down his phone, and then this heavy-set female comes out of the room and butts into the conversation, and it's very rude and disrespectful. When I was actually polite when I asked him not to play his phone music on his phone so loudly. So you can reference my podcast that I already published to that end. Understand this one she's the one who I documented engaging in what is creation of audible activity in relevant position while the state is directing light. Okay, get past the substance of that conversation. I'll dissect the substance in a second, but understand she was monitoring. She's in relevant position. Everything that was said is nothing but audible activity while the state is monitoring me to that conduct, and she is monitoring with her communication devices and facilitating that, representing economy and monitoring with the quote-unquote patrons who are nothing more than third parties as well. All right, all of that was P.O.C. This same female monitoring with another male who was dragging, looks like a red ice box, and doing so with simultaneity as I am in the midst of doing something with my hair. As I'm like twisting my hair, just to be specific as to what I'm doing. I'm doing something with my hair. It's a new movement, and at the same moment that I do that, and which is requiring that they are already present. Okay, they're stalkers, just standing around, sitting around, just like I'm showing you picture and video. They're just sitting around, just stalking. Issues, psychopaths. Okay. And so they're sitting around, they're already present, waiting for the moment while they're listening to me know exactly what I'm doing and creating activity with simultaneity at that opportune moment. And so with simultaneity to my new movement of my manipulation of my hair, these Latinos walk past my room, creating activity, dragging this it looks to be like an ice box. It's red and white. They would be seen on the cameras at this venue doing so. Understand it is exceptionally loud, audible activity, which is why I heard it and I opened the door and I asked them, could you not be so loud? And then they are responding with, first of all, the fact that I'm hearing it and it's that loud that it's speaking to. If it wasn't that loud, how do I know that you're walking outside and you're dragging an ice box? Because it's not at a normal volume. It is at an exceptionally loud volume. They're creating this activity. They're acting in concert with the state that is turning up the volume of that stalking and monitoring conduct. And in addition to that, they have the audacity to be disrespectful while they are engaging in conduct that is threatening my life and my physical safety and my overall well-being. Okay, this is going toward economy in. Every word that they utter is going to be thrown right back at them at federal prosecution. They are monitoring with the people of the state of California who are here under the guise of being patrons. They're all group stalkers. AMR documented sounding its sirens with simultaneity to my video camera stopping, which it knows that's not not a coincidence because they are monitoring. The sirens stop the moment they pass the driveway of Economy N, which is also the creation of light activity. As they pass that driveway, AMR, the vehicle, creates a shadow. This is light activity, and the sirens are sounding. Sirens stop the moment that they pass the open driveway of Economy N. That is P.O.C. AMR was already present, okay? The siren sounding seconds later, they're crossing path. They're stalking in relevant position. They're not going anywhere. Okay, they're already present, stalking in relevant position, just like the employees are already present, standing outside my door, waiting for the moment to create activity. That's exactly what AMR is engaged in. That's exactly what I documented. That's what you're listening to. And these group stalkers that are sitting in their Kia Forte in the parking lot monitoring with minor children, absolutely pathetic. Not only does she look pathetic, she is a pathetic specimen, all right? A pathetic excuse of a human being. She's engaged in criminal monitoring. And like I told you, it has nothing to do with your race. She's black as the night, and she is monitoring another American citizen, and I happen to be an African American. That is an African American engaged in criminal monitoring. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, monitoring with the police, okay? It has nothing to do with that. This is, if you really want to know, it's not a racial issue. It's that which is a spiritual issue. This is a demonic system in operation, and it is entirely criminal. Race has nothing to do with it. I've documented many black-skinned criminals that are monitoring, okay? Engaging in this satanic system, acting with the police. They're on the same side of the criminal, monitoring, all right? P.O.C. It is currently 6:45 p.m., and surveillance cameras are also another means of confirming that which I'm reciting in real time. And that license plate that I recited in the video, also seen on the surveillance cameras, AAA was loitering in relevant position. They were monitoring the entire time with simultaneity to my opening up the door and and beginning to document and noting the license plate. These third parties know exactly what I'm doing. They know that I'm moving as I'm in the room, okay? And so they have because of that, you have what our group stalkers, what you're looking at on the surveillance cameras, everything that you are looking at is informed by, what you are looking at them do, their actions are informed by what they're listening to me inside of my room on my phone, okay? So this is what I'm saying. They are literally engaging in P.O.C. on camera. This is that which the state has forfeited any. It's literally just monitoring until the day that it shall be literally shamed on the world stage, because they are going to be prosecuted, and this case is sewn shut. There is no form. There is no other explanation. I have literally broken down not only what is monitoring, but why they are doing it, in addition to answering the context as to the ways in which you should prosecute it. And I have every appropriate basis to prescribe that, being subject to that criminal conduct, okay? The insight to what a psychopath is, having been raised by one, okay? And speaking to what you are focusing on when you're prosecuting and when you're assessing what a psychopath is. It's not based on their race, it's not based on their identity, their relationship, their economic status, how they present themselves, or how friendly or how charming or how charismatic they may think they are. Understand, they're psychopaths in police uniforms, psychopaths driving around in ambulance, emergency vehicles, psychopaths flying around in planes and helicopters, psychopaths driving commercial vehicles such as Amazon Prime, who loves to be documented as a sex offending psychopath that it is, monitoring, using those commercial vehicles, acting with the same state that is on that same path, engaged in the same element of relevant positioning on the 60 freeway, under all the same hallmarks and criminal elements, AMR, Stater Brothers, and every other third party in their private vehicles, engaging in P.O.C. Amazon Prime, part of that, and Amazon Prime heavily documented and specifically documented, engaged in sexual violence, molesting my person with impossible light activity, engaging in a threat with that conduct, that light which is never occurring naturally under a fake sun, monitoring me, threatening me while they're aware of the fact that I'm documenting them, intentionally engaging in that P.O.C. and repeatedly engaging in that P.O.C., which is the behavioral pattern, as I've already shown you. Amazon Prime, specifically noting them, they want to engage in the P.O.C. They're going to be shown as the criminals and the threat to an American citizen, as opposed to the way that they represent themselves on the public on these commercials. It's a lie. All right. This is real life documentation of what the government is actually engaged in, of what the government is doing in concert with the people of the state. And it is a psychopath, just like every other weirdo who's standing outside of your door, just hitting on a wall, remaining standing outside while they're listening to you. Do you know what would happen upon providing proof of that form of what is traditional stalking and hitting around on objects as they're listening to you? That person would be put into a mental ward, and appropriately so. This is a government to be dealt with accordingly, but this is speaking to that which is group conduct. It is shared amongst the group, and understand that how do you have a group engaging in identical behavioral patterns? It is not only pursuant to that which is criminal monitoring, but you need to understand the entity is not only the public entity, the state of California. The entity itself is satanic, and you have this satanic entity in operation over the people of the state of California, and this is what is informing that identical behavior amongst a group of strangers everywhere that I go 24 hours a day, okay? It is demonic, but it is also that which is a criminal system in operation by the government, which is subject to prosecution based on objective evidence. But I want to be clear, that entity that you cannot see, that is invisible, engaging in what is the creation of an effective influence over these people, it's satanic, and you cannot see it over the brand named Amazon. You cannot see it as they're sitting there talking in relevant position, sitting on their phone, doing whatever it is they think they're doing while they're in relevant position. What they are doing is made very bare. It's clear. It's in plain sight now, but this is that which the state has been engaged in for years under the guise of what is supposed to look like exactly what it looks like on the surface, but it's not. You're looking at the elements, and the elements are on the surface, all right? And there is no conduct whereby you are engaged in, whether it is in as a private individual or via some company business, speaking to AAA, monitoring in the same parking lot in relevant position under the state's fake sun, impossible light activity, ongoing amplification of audible activity. The state, as you heard, sounding its sirens while I opened the door, as my camera stopped, at the same time my camera stopped, immediately siren sound. AMR that was already stalking was already present, immediately drives past, and sirens stop at the moment that they pass the driveway. While I was inside of the room with my door closed, AAA in the parking lot, group stalking with the people of the state of California. AAA represents the people of the state, monitoring me, threatening me, engaged in corporate invasion of privacy, doing so in a commercial vehicle. All right, and I recited that license plate on video while I'm keeping my camera on the face of this heavy-set African-American female who was monitoring with minor children in concert with the rest of them that are in relevant position on the grounds. The state is monitoring as well. All those group stalkers you see on the 60 freeway, those group stalkers on Euclid Avenue, this is why the state is amplifying sirens over there. That is speaking to what the rest of them are doing over there as well. All right, that's P.O.C. and it's 6:51 p.m. This is amplified audible activity. It's 6:53 p.m. I want to give an example of that which is used to stalk with activity inside of the room. As I am uploading my podcast that I just recorded about the group stalkers acting via AAA and by Economy Inn, by AMR Ambulance, understand as I press a button on my phone to go to a different screen, immediately what you hear through the walls is on, you hear that? It stops. That's supposed to be water cycling through the wall. It's heard on the side of the room where I am sitting on the bed nearest the vanity. I'm holding the phone up at the wall where the mirror is at the sink, and in the shower room where it is amplified audible activity. This noise, which is not occurring, this is the state engaging in that tactic in the bathroom, making any kind of noise in the room, in other words. And this is the creation of what is supposed to be the toilet, I guess, the water cycling through the walls. It is used as a means of stalking. The moment that I press the phone screen, all of a sudden you hear this water cycling. It's reminiscent of water, because this is not actually activity that is occurring inside of the hotel room. This is the state engaging in that same behavioral pattern. And understand, this is another method as to hitting the ceiling, or the sound of what is hitting the ceiling. The state literally just creates manner of noise inside of this room, from the ceiling, from the floors, from the walls, and it is turned up in volume. And this is another method, what is supposed to be cycling, sounding like the water water cycling through the walls or whatever. That's P.O.C, and I just want to go ahead and capture that. That's 6:54 p.m., and it occurs with simultaneity, like as I change screens and press a button to upload a podcast. I stopped immediately to try to record some of that so you can see that is occurring. Not only is that not audible activity that's occurring in this hotel room. You are not having cycling water and whatnot at this loud volume. It's very loud, and it is that which is occurring with simultaneity to my pressing the screen on my phone to upload. That's monitoring conduct, okay? So what you are looking at is, again, you are looking at what is the conduct. Pursuant to the conduct of monitoring, you're looking at what is conduct that occurs pursuant to an ongoing behavioral pattern. You can apply any method of noise. Screaming, plane, helicopter, sirens, honking of a horn, stomping of feet, dragging an ice bucket, whatever method you are using to create what is none other than noise, understand it is occurring pursuant to that behavioral pattern, which is following, that is stalking, while they are engaged in ongoing invasion of privacy, listening to me, knowing what I'm doing inside of the room and knowing what I'm doing on my phone, on the internet, 18 U.S.C, section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. They are creating this, engaging in any sort of method of activity creation, okay? And that's the bottom line. It is pursuant to that behavioral pattern. It is none other than activity creation. And that was just another method of that which I've already described, and it is also that which the state does at every single venue that I go to, especially in the location of the private space of the bathroom. Everywhere you go, you're hearing what is the sound of loud activity inside of the bathroom. Everything is always loud, okay? That is because the state is monitoring. In the same way that the fake sun is always over my head everywhere I go. If I remained at Economy Inn today, and you see where the state's fake sun is, but it would remain directly over my head if I were to leave Economy Inn and walk to B&G Plaza, for example. It is not both here and at that location, okay? The state is stalking, moving that light source, remaining directly over me. And like I said, in the same way that it is always loud everywhere I go, including in the grocery stores where there are group stalking in a venue like that, for example, and they are literally making noises as you are moving around in the store. It's the same exact behavioral pattern. So this is informing that which the entity acting via the people of the state are engaged everywhere. And this is that which I have documented in pictures. I'm taking pictures of how they are group stalking everywhere that I go, and that is a communication of a threat. Psychopaths surrounding you, and they are creating noise, and you are looking at what is demonic activity, very peculiar, and aware of the fact that they are monitoring you, because the state is stalking you with light, the state is molesting you with light, the state is stalking you by planes and helicopters and the sounds of sirens everywhere that you go. You need to picture this image in your mind, and the state is stalking even when you are inside of any venue, any public establishment, maintaining noise levels while you are in there. You are in no way escaping what is the ongoing engagement in the elements at all times, and this is that same conduct inside of this private space, sounding what is supposed to be loud water cycling through the walls, okay? That is not what is actually occurring. That is the state engaging in artificially engineering noise inside of the room with simultaneity, by the way, to my pressing my phone screen, all right? It's 6:58 p.m. and that's P.O.C. That's activity creation.